The 1871 South Africa, Kimberley, an 18-year-old sick boy. His lungs are in bad shape. His family had sent him from England, hoping the African climate would do him good. They had no other plan. His name was Cecil Rhodes. Cecil recovered, but he never went back to England. 30 years later, this man owned nearly all of the world's diamond production. He was the prime minister of a colony. He even had his own army, the lands we now call Zimbabwe and Zambia on the map. He shaped them. He had one idea. Production doesn't make you rich. Control makes you rich. In 1867, diamonds were found in the Kimberley region. The news spread and people flooded in. Europeans, Africans, adventurers, everyone with their own small plot of land, everyone digging randomly as they pleased. No coordination, no order. Every day someone new got rich or went bankrupt. Pure chaos. Cecil looked at this scene and saw one thing clearly. Everyone was asking the wrong question. Everyone was asking, how do I dig more diamonds? The right question was different. What happens if someone controls all of this? Why are diamonds valuable? Most people say, because they're rare. And that sounds reasonable. But it's wrong. Diamonds aren't truly rare. The earth holds enormous quantities of them. In the late 1800s, the Kimberley mines were producing diamonds in massive volumes. There was abundance everywhere. Rhodes knew this, and that is precisely why he decided to create a scarcity. He had figured out this truth quickly. If hundreds of small miners produce freely, the market floods with diamonds and the price collapses. But if all production is consolidated in one hand, that hand opens the tap whenever it wants, closes it whenever it wants. The prices in the market move according to that hand's decisions. That was exactly what he wanted to do. But Cecil had one enormous obstacle standing in his way: Barney Barnato. Barnato was a formidable man. He had come up from London's working class, worked as an acrobat in the circus in his youth, and somehow found his way to Kimberley, building a massive mining empire in a short time. He was sharp. He was liked. Rhodes knew he was in the way. In the mid-1880s, a real share war broke out between the two. Both were buying up land aggressively. Prices peaked within weeks. Fortunes were won and lost. Cecil had one advantage. The Rothschild family was on his side. London's most powerful banking dynasty had seen the big picture and understood how valuable a controlled global diamond supply would be. They gave Rhodes the capital he needed. Eventually, the balance tipped in Rhodes's favor. An offer was put to Barnato. He agreed to swap his shares in Kimberley Central for De Beers shares. He took no cash but would become a partner in the new company. That made him wealthy, but control now belonged to Rhodes. In 1888, the deal was signed. De Beers Consolidated Mines was founded. It had become the single company controlling all diamond production in South Africa. After De Beers was founded, Rhodes cut production. The world's largest diamond owner deliberately slowed diamond output. Stockpiles were built up. Goods were released into the market through careful, precise calculations. Fixed price agreements were made with London traders. As a result, diamond prices stayed high, stable and high, almost independent of the market's normal flow. This model proved remarkably resilient. Years later, De Beers would go even further. In 1947, an advertising agency published a 4-word slogan: "A diamond is forever." De Beers wasn't selling a product. It was inventing a necessity. The ring on your finger today is technically the legacy of a pricing policy set by a monopoly founded in 1888. Cecil didn't just want to be rich. In 1890, he became Prime Minister of the Cape Colony. simultaneously the most powerful businessman and the most influential politician in southern Africa. De Beers's wealth and influence had elevated him to that position. But the plan, in his mind, was far larger. He wanted to build an unbroken British line from Cape Town to Cairo, a corridor running the full length of Africa, and for that, he needed land. In 1889, he founded the British South Africa Company. This was no ordinary trading company. It had its own police force and even its own army, and most importantly, it had the authority to govern the territories it acquired. A company that acted like a state. Through treaties, pressure, and at times direct military force, the BSAC pushed northward into the lands of the Ndebele and Shona peoples. These territories eventually took the name Rhodesia, today's Zimbabwe and Zambia. Their names came from Rhodes. No one had asked the people who lived there. Cecil had grown so powerful that he had begun to overstep. In December 1895, a private military force under his close associate Dr. Leander Jameson was to invade the neighboring Boer Republic of the Transvaal. It would ignite an uprising among British settlers inside, and through that chaos, the gold mines of Johannesburg would be seized. What was expected never happened. Jameson's soldiers were taken prisoner. The uprising never started. The British government announced it had known nothing of the events, but fingerprints were everywhere. Rhodes was forced to resign from the Cape Colony prime ministership. His reputation was in ruins. He spent his final years making plans. In his will, he established the Rhodes Scholarships, still awarded today. He died in 1902. He was 48 years old. At his death, he controlled more of Africa's mineral wealth than any other individual in history. Cecil Rhodes noticed something in his time that no one else had seen and managed to turn it to his advantage. The legacy he left has reached all the way to the present day. The order De Beers built maintained its grip on the global diamond supply into the early 2000s, until discoveries in Russia and Canada began to shift the balance. Today, De Beers remains one of the world's largest diamond producers. The lands that bore Rhodes's name gained their independence much later. Zambia in 1964, Zimbabwe in 1980. And Cecil Rhodes's name lives on, in a statue at Oxford, in scholarship programs, in ongoing debate. If you found answers to your questions, wonderful. Keep listening to Wallet Historian, and I'll keep searching for answers.